Namaste. At Sharada Prabha, we believe travel is a powerful means to learning. We encourage travelers, especially parents and educators, to share their experiences with students. When they come back from their travel, the entire Sharada Prabha community benefits and learns from their first hand experiences. Today's travelogue is about Cambodia. Cambodia is a country that has been deeply influenced by the Bharatiya culture and tradition. Students heard about temples, uh, clothing, art, and cuisine about this beautiful country. They also engaged in some hands on activities and got a little bit of a taste of what this country's culture is all about. They saw the similarities with the Bharatiya culture and reflected on how cultures and traditions spread across lands and take on new forms. Most importantly, they learnt about the concept of minimalism, to be content with whatever little we have, to be innovative with whatever resources we have, and to live a life of gratitude. Enjoy and join us in this travel to Cambodia. Okay, good morning, everyone. So, we believe that travel is a powerful form of learning, isn't it? So, we always invite travelers to come and share their experiences with us. Who likes hearing about experiences of travelers? Raise your hand. Everybody likes it, right? And especially parents and educators. So, when they're traveling, they're not just enjoying. We request them to observe whatever it is that is going on in that place, whether it be a country or a village or a town or a city, and then come back and share with all of us what they observed, what they learned there, and what we can learn from hearing about their experiences. So today we're going to travel to Cambodia. Which country? Cambodia. Virtual travel. Okay, mini travel. Not totally virtual because you get a little bit of experience with your senses also, but you'll get to experience in a maybe, how can you say it, like a tasting, okay, a little bit of a sampler of what Cambodia is all about, their way of life, their culture. That includes their religion, their art, cuisine, clothing, right? And it's very interesting, as it is for every country. You'll see how it is influenced by Indian or Bharatiya tradition, and how traditions change when they travel across countries. You'll see some similarities and also some differences between the two. And one of the most important concepts you learn about today is minimalism. Minimalism, I won't define it. I'll leave it up to you to hear it and learn about it as we proceed with this session, this interesting exploration. Ready for it? Yes. All right, let's start.
Okay, so good morning everyone from my side. Namaste, bonjour, guten tag, and in Cambodian, how do we say it? In Khmer languages, we say Suasday. Suasday. Okay, good. So we discussed last Saturday, if you remember, where Cambodia was located compared to India. Do you remember what is the distance between Mumbai and Cambodia? Yes, that was the distance exactly between the two countries. So which means that it is quite far, 4 to 5 hours flight, I would say, from here. You can only reach there by this. No? And do you remember also what is the size of India compared to Cambodia? How many times larger is India compared to Cambodia? Yes? 18 times. 1/8, exactly. So Cambodia is a relatively small size country compared to India, of course. And it is a home of how many inhabitants? Do you remember how many inhabitants there are in Cambodia? Okay, I will help you with that one. 17 million inhabitants. So it's not a big country, of course, compared to India, where we are more in the range of 1.3 to 1.4 billions inhabitants. And we saw that it is basically located on the southeastern part of India, here in Cambodia. You also see the flag of Cambodia. 2 colors, blue, red. And do you remember what we see on the flag? A temple, yes, because temples are very important to Cambodia, and we will see that today. So today, what will we do? I will take you through a mini travel. We have like 6 stops where we will talk about the city, introduction, that's what we did, some temples, the cities, countryside, arts and dance, a bit of clothing, and food, of course. So, are you ready for this?
Yes.
Good to hear, good to hear. Thank you very much. So, I suggest we start with the temples, okay? So for this one, you can stay seated because I think you can see from where you are. So, in Cambodia, in the good old times, around like the early 12th century, Angkor Wat, which is the main temple complex, was established. Because at that time in Southeast Asia, there was really powerful kings. They established very strong kingdoms. They had a large influence in the region. And they wanted, basically, with these temples, to symbolize the harmony between the gods, nature, and the civilization. And so they developed temples. Originally, Angkor Wat, which is the main edifice, was a temple dedicated to Vishnu. So Hinduism was basically at the beginning of the history of Angkor Wat. Then, later on, as you know, the influence of the kingdom extended to other regions, slowly Buddhism was introduced in Angkor Wat. And today, Buddhism is the official religion of the country. So I can maybe give you some of the principles of Buddhism, which are very close somehow to Hinduism. Is that you live peacefully, okay? You are happy for what you have. You live a simple and modest life, and you show gratitude. It's very summary, but that basically is the main driving principle of Buddhism. And as you can see, these temples are very old. And on the pictures, you can see some trees, big trees, large trees that have been there for centuries. Because as time passed by, Angkor Wat lost slowly its preeminence and was partially abandoned. And so the trees started to grow through the stones. And you can see the size of the trees. I can stand in the door here, and the tree is coming on top. So that's very, very large. Also on the temples, it was like every temple like a piece of art. You can see on some of them like smiling Buddhas with a welcoming face, symbolizing also peace. So it is a very huge complex that took me 3 days to visit. And for doing that, I basically rode on a bike that I hired. I had a map of all the temples, and during 3 days, starting at dawn, I would take the bike, go visit the temple, and mark a cross on the map. And so after 3 days, I finished to visit all of them, including the remote ones that are also a bit smaller, outside of the main tourist track. I have also to share with you, I told you that the temples were slowly, gradually abandoned, but only partially. Why was it the case? Because if it's such a big, complex of temples, why not staying there? Because as you know, it attracted even more people. Then there was a pressure on the water resource. And the water canals were not designed in a way to sustain a large population. So they started some problems. People were a bit dissatisfied. At the same time, some conflict emerged in the region. Political influence. New kings coming in place wanted to have their own capital somewhere else, more convenient. And that's the reason why Angkor Wat was slowly abandoned. But there was still a small presence for the Buddhist monks to basically stay in the city. So you can see the temples take different form. Angkor Wat is this temple, also here, the main one. And you can see it looks similar to the flag because this is actually the temple that is represented on the flag, Angkor Wat. The others are 50 years, I would say, younger. Taprom is the other main monastery. It was also a school during like the 12th century and then beyond. And you can see here picture of me holding a reclining wall. And when you will walk later on, you can see that this wall were really, really thick. So this was infrastructure built to last until today. So this is for the temple stuff and the importance in the Cambodian civilization until today, as you can see, still on the flag. Now I would suggest that we slowly travel to our next destination, the city, Phnom Penh, which is the capital city of Cambodia. Yeah, so here with this stop in the city, I wanted to show you the architecture, and you can see it's quite different from what we can see here around, especially the roofs with spikes, different levels. And all these buildings, all these pictures are taken in Phnom Penh, which is the capital city of Cambodia, established since the 15th century. One specificity of this city is that it is basically staying at the crossing of two rivers. First river we talked about last Saturday, the Mekong River, which is a large one. And the second river is Tonle Sap, which is basically what we see here, because this is basically the river bank that you see. And why is it important for cities to be established along the rivers? It's because, of course, water is essential to life. In water, you can find fish, and it makes transportation easier for people and goods. So that's why location at river crossing especially are extremely strategic. Therefore, this capital city was established at the crossing of the Tonle Sap River and the Mekong River. And you can see here on this picture the Royal Palace of Cambodia, because I told you Cambodia is a constitutional monarchy, which means that they have a king, but the basically day-to-day activities to carry in the countries are basically led by a prime minister, also supported by parliament to establish the laws. Here you can see the National Museum of Cambodia, the same typical architectures of the roof with different levels, and the Silver Pagoda, which is also one of the landmark buildings. And I've put also a picture of Buddha, because Buddha is everywhere. You can find it in temples, in buildings like this, and people worship in pagodas. And I introduced you to Buddhism and why it is important, but when you look at Buddha, you can find him mostly in three positions. When Buddha is standing, it means that Buddha is teaching. When Buddha is sitting, it means like Buddha is calm. And when Buddha is lying, it's more like peaceful. And it basically connects to the Buddhism principle, being calm, living a simple life, and happy. So this is for Phnom Penh, the capital city of Cambodia. And now I suggest we go to the countryside, because Cambodia is much more than the capital city. And I invite you to join me to the next stop across the room. So here, this is basically a poster dedicated to a city in the countryside. The name of the city is Battambang. I had the opportunity to visit this city, and I was very happy to go there because I could really connect with the local people. And I took a few pictures here to basically describe what I found. Of course, we have a sitting Buddha in a pagoda, which is basically we can find across the country. We have buildings like this one that are basically typical of a French heritage. Because at some point in time in history, the French had a presence in Cambodia, and they basically helped the country establish the roads, the railways, and the schools. So the education system is somehow very much driven by this initial step at that time. The French left the country in 1953 after a war there, and you can still find the heritage of these buildings in the country. And as I just said, the French helped develop the railways, and you can find here one railway with a specificity. What they have in Battambang is unique. This is what you can see is a bamboo train. Because the infrastructure were damaged, but people, after the French left, they still wanted to use the railways to move around, to go to the cities, send goods, travel. And they developed this very minimalistic train, the bamboo train, which is basically made of a bamboo platform propelled by a motorbike engine on the railway. And we discussed on Saturday, this minimalism aspect and creativity is very similar to what we can find here in India, like the Jugaad, frugal innovation. And of course, as there is only one railway track, this train needs to be dismantled quickly in case of crossings. So they can basically lift the bamboo platform, put the train on the track to let go another train coming in the opposite direction. So this is what is very typical of this city in Battambang. That the people, they found the resources, to still move around despite the fact that the infrastructure was basically not up to the mark. Bamboo train in Cambodia. And now we can go to the next stop. The next stop is focusing on arts. These are pictures taken on the walls of the temples. And you see many dancers. They call them apsaras. They are dancing for the gods. They represent joy, beauty, and basically their dance is the expression of prayer. They wear very distinctive clothing with like golden crowns. The hand gesture is also very specific as an expression. You will see, I will show you in a few minutes, it's a very slow dance. And the movement of the hands are very important because they show like flowers opening. And you will see that in a few minutes. And so this makes the temples very welcoming and a happy place to be, to stay, and also for the god. Also, I've put another picture, which is different from all these dancers at the center. You can see there's also some carvings, very finely realized, on a temple. And this describes a piece of history. The kings love to describe the day-to-day life, but also their success in battles, in wars, where they won against like some other kings in the region. And that's why the temples are more like an open storybooks. If you walk around, you see all these scriptures, carvings, telling the story, what happened in the 12th, 13th centuries. And this is very precious. And today, they are well preserved, as you can see here. And if you look at the apsaras that were designed at these good old times when the temples were built, around the 12th century, you see that there is a very high similarity with the traditional dancers that you see today, because they have kept this tradition and heritage. So now, after talking about the dance, I suggest I show you what the dance is about. So I will invite you to look at the TV for a short demonstration of the Apsara dance by their national ballet. And you will see the dance is taking place in the temples. So you will get even more to see. Okay, so what kind of clothes do we find in Cambodia? I think, for me, two main type of clothes could be seen. You have on this picture what they call the sarong, which is like a piece of clothes, tightened around the waist, and that you will see that almost everywhere in the cities. It is worn by men, women, and this is for the everyday life. And what you can also see on the other picture, it's some kind of more elaborated or sophisticated piece of clothes, which also is tied around the waist. And this one is called sampot. And the dancers were wearing also the sampot. So this is the same for men and women that you find in the street. And I remember when I traveled there, I just brought with me one piece of sarong that I don't have here with me today as a memory. So this is a traditional outfit of the people in Cambodia. In southern India, in Kerala, I remember seeing that's the longi. It's also like one piece of clothes wrapped around the waist, which still has some similarity with what we can see on the picture here. Good. So now we do another stop, the food. What do you see? I hear?
Food.
Yeah, okay. And? What are you saying? Fruits, yes. I mean, the food in Cambodia is very simple, but yet very savory. It's made mostly of the ingredients they can find in the country. And you can see, for example, like coconut. So they use a lot coconut. They use also banana, vegetables, and they make a lot of curries with rice. So basically, vegetable cooked in coconut milk served with rice. And that's basically what they based a lot their dishes on. And what you can see here in the center is actually a sweet, a dessert. It's called Ansom Chek. It is basically prepared out of sticky rice, grated coconut, sugar or jaggery, and banana. All this mixed, wrapped up in a banana leaf, and then steamed. And this is basically one of the famous sweets that we can find in Cambodia. I got the experience to taste it. It's very yummy. And soon, in a few minutes, we will share that with you again because, with the cook here, we managed to basically bring Cambodia to you today, and you will taste this sweet. So this is distinctive element of the Cambodian culture. And also, it is also used during some festivals. There are 3 main festivals in Cambodia. First one is the New Year, happening in April, also celebrating the harvest. The second one is celebrating the ancestors. That's where also they offer a lot of food. And the third one is towards the end of the year, celebrating water, because Phnom Penh is really important at the crossroads of 2 rivers. So this is for the Cambodian food, and you will get to taste that a bit later. So we will share that. Any questions? Yes?
What is this?
Yes, this is basically a sweet made out of rice that they also use. Difficult to see, and these are vegetables that you can find here. Also some pineapples, tomatoes, things very simple that you can find on the markets. Yes?
What is this?
This is exactly what I described. It is sticky rice mixed with grated coconut, banana, and a bit of sugar. This is a Ansom Chek. Yes. Yes.
What is this?
This is basically like a vegetable that it is growing underground. It's a root of a vegetable. In other countries, they call it manioc, but I'm not sure how to translate it, especially for Cambodia. But it is something edible that they cook. You need to cook it and then serve it. Yes. It is a vegetable curry. So it is basically vegetables cooked in coconut milk. Yes.
What is this?
Yeah, this is basically different sample of vegetables arranged differently. You see here some rolls. Here it's made of, I think, some kind of beans and greeneries. Yes. Yes.
What is this?
So this is basically a coconut, half a coconut, in which they have basically used the coconut milk to cook some vegetables. It's another vegetable curry. Yes. Yes. Coconut milk.
What is this?
This is what we will get to taste. It's the same thing as this, but wrapped, you see, in a banana leaf. Same thing. Yes.
There is also coconut or it's bowl.
Here? Yes. Yes, vegetables, it's a bowl. It's a bowl here, sorry. But the coconut milk is used there. Okay, so we do some arts now.
All right. So far, are you noticing some similarities?
Yes.
And some differences also, right? You saw the dance. Apsara is an Indian term. It's a Sanskrit term. Apsara means these women who who dance and enchant. And they enchant rishis. Okay, they usually dance, enchant, meaning they attract the attention of rishi munis. Especially they dance in Swarg, heaven. Indra has a lot of apsaras. So anyway, you saw that was apsara dance, and now here's some art, and you'll get to experience art and cuisine both. Is it you heard about the Cambodian sweet dish? Was it enough just to hear about it or read about it? What do you want to do? You want to taste it? Okay. So you'll get to taste the food and the art. So here are some traditional Cambodian art images that we printed. This one, can you explain this one?
Yes. So this one, I mean, there are many different forms, but this one looks like a bit like a lion, so to me. Huh? And we find lions almost everywhere in Angkor Wat at the entrance of the temple. They are the guardians of the temple. They protect the god. They show courage, and that's why this animal is so prominent and important in the Cambodian culture. So to me, this one looks like quite aggressive, to be honest, not too friendly, and therefore I would say it should be a lion.
This is very interesting to me because did you hear what was said? He's found at the entrance of the temples. You'll find this kind of an image at the entrance of Shiva temples also, called Kirtimukh. And so this idea of guardian deity is a traditional motif. Motif means a recurring theme that you'll find in many traditions. Do you know at the entrance of a Vishnu temple, there are two guardians that stand. Do you know the names of those guardians? Exactly. Jai and Vijay. So at the entrance of Vishnu temple, you have Jai and Vijay. At the entrance of Shiva temple, you have Kirtimukh. So this is similar. The idea is similar. Of course, the form changes depending on the culture. Also, the story of Ganesha. Ganesha is at the entrance, guarding Shakti, right, Parvati, and he blocks Shiva from going inside. This is also similar?
Yeah, this is another representation to basically guardian.
Beautiful, no? Traditional Cambodian form. All right, now something very interesting. Oh, this one you know. Who is he? Now you should know. Okay, very different than an Indian image of Buddha.
Sitting Buddha. Yeah.
Every country paints and represents Buddha as if Buddha was from that country. Okay. Here's another image. You see his eyes. Are they totally closed?
No.
Are they totally open? So half closed, half open. It's a typical meditation posture where they keep it slightly open so that they don't fall asleep. And they don't keep it fully open so that they don't get distracted from what's going outside. Now, who can guess? This one is the one I was talking about. Very interesting. Who can guess? Yeah, Hanuman. Hanuman from Cambodia. Hanuman. And which script is this, by the way?
This is Khmer.
Okay, there you go. Cambodian script.
Yes.
Hanuman. Similar or different than Indian Hanuman? And similar, right? Because he was able to identify him as Hanuman. What did you find in him that made you realize he's Hanuman?
Sun.
Okay, and you, Harish, what did you see in him? And look at his face. Slightly monkey face. Okay. This is also interesting. Is this a deity?
Yes, I think it's an incarnation of Buddha somehow. Yeah.
Some incarnation. But you see some symbols in his hands. Do you see a chakra?
Yes.
What is that similar to? Vishnu Sudarshan Chakra. So these are all Indian or Bharatiya symbols that have traveled across countries. Okay, from here, from India, they traveled to Cambodia and they changed forms depending on the culture that was prevalent at that time in that place. All right, tell us about this one.
Yeah, so here, if you can see and make the parallel with what we saw before, due to the presence of crowns, these are the holy dancers, the apsaras.
Apsaras, holy dancers. The crown is the distinguishing feature, right?
Yes.
Is that what it is? All right, this one is also something similar to an Indian goddess. Who is she?
Sharada.
Who is she in Cambodia?
I mean, she would be also like like a muse, symbolizing dance and an apsara.
A muse. Muse is somebody who inspires poetry or art of any form, like an invisible presence that inspires you from within. Like Prabha means inspiration, insight, light, right? Illumination from inside. And Sharada means the goddess. So Sharada Prabha means the goddess who gives insight. So that's why I said she's Sharada.
Okay, good.
Insight,
Great connection with the school.
idea. Yeah, insight means an idea, like an idea from a different world, creative idea. Okay. All right. What is this?
Rice sweet.
Rice
Yes.
sweet, the traditional art form. Now you can identify her. Yep. Say it. Everybody say it. Apsara.
Yes, great.
It's a cartoon like, so you can draw it in different ways. Okay. Cartoon Apsara. Is this also? Hanuman?
Yes, it's a guardian singer as well.
It's a guardian
Yeah.
figure,
Yeah, very similar also. Yeah.
similar to Hanuman.
Yeah.
Why the Hanuman in this Hanuman does not have a tail?
Yeah. The other one. Let's look at the other one. True. He doesn't actually. Yeah. In this one also, he kind of lacks a tail.
Yes, he likes a tail, but he has some kind of a long clothing, and
Right.
so
That's the difference.
excellent. Yeah.
But he's still a monkey god, Vanara. And very different than our Hanuman who's carrying a mountain and is at the feet of Ram. But you don't, this is more like Veer-ras, right? Like strong. You know the Navarasas? This is Veer-ras. Whereas in our Indian tradition, Hanuman represents more Bhakti-ras, like Shanta-ras. Who is he? Buddha and his disciples. Is there others like his?
It could be like monk and disciples.
Monk
of,
and his
Buddha.
disciples.
Because I mean, there you can find a lot of monks as well. They wear like traditional clothes, in
Monks.
Orient as well. Yes.
Sannyasis. Any special significance to this, or is,
Yeah.
is
It looks like also like some kind of incarnation of I mean, I would say it could be Buddha as well.
some incarnation of Buddha? All right.
Yeah, this
Who are
easy.
they? You'll get upstairs in your dreams now.
Many forms,
Interesting image. Similar. I don't know. But it's very similar.
Some influence, yes, definitely.
Some influence for sure. Ramayana traveled across Southeast Asia. So Cambodia also had Ramayana retellings. This is another interesting image. See, Apsara, they're showing her in the sky. So in Swarg. Swarg is above, and what's below? Patal. So she's in Swarg. Okay. All right.
And then we are back.
Back to Kirtimukh. So who would like to taste the Cambodian sweet dish? It's made fresh.
Everyone, okay,
Close your eyes and just taste. Imagine and taste it.
great. Good. So let's do that.
And then we'll do some art. Okay. Do you remember these images in your mind? Okay. Can you do the art without looking at the images?
Okay, so I mean, this is Ansom Chek. As I told you, it's like sticky rice cooked with grated coconut, a bit of jaggery and banana, all mixed together, wrapped in a banana leaf, and then steamed. And I got to taste this specific dessert when I was on the go, either between two temple visits or at a bus station, where you feel a bit hungry, you need a quick bite to continue. And that's why when I was thinking, okay, what can I have you discovered today? What is something simple you can also even make at home here with what is available? I thought this would be a great treat.
Hare Data, Hare Bhokta, Hare Randham Prajapati, Hare Krishna Sharidastu, Bhunte Bhujate Hari, Om Namah Parvati Hare, Hara 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 Mahadev, Satnath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you God for the food we eat. Annadata Sukhi Bhava.
So, how did you like it? Good. Have you ever eaten something like this? No? Okay. So I'm glad you liked it. This Ansom Chek specialty from Cambodia. And yes, it's a nice, addition to this travel that we had today. What have we learned today? Today, through the different stops that we had in our gallery walk, you got introduced to Cambodia as a country. Where is it on the map? How big is it? How many inhabitants are living there? To their traditions, the temples, and the roots of Hinduism and Buddhism. Going through the centuries, through these big temples and large trees that basically is a characteristic of Cambodia today. We also traveled through the capital city, Phnom Penh, where you could appreciate the architecture of the buildings and the importance of the royal palace and basically the political regime today in place, the constitutional monarchy. And then we had a stopover in the countryside in Battambang, where you could be introduced to some influence, French influence in the history of the country, and the bamboo train, which is basically a hallmark of minimalism to keep traveling and using the infrastructure. Through arts, you discover the dances of Croatia and also like this temple, these carvings that are basically make the open book history available to everyone who travels there. Of course, with the statues of Buddha and the pictures that you saw, you also understood what are the principles of Buddhism and the different representation or incarnation of Buddha. And also to finalize, you could appreciate a sample of the food culture in Cambodia through this sweet, but also what are the main ingredients of the Cambodian cuisine. Coconut milk, vegetables, rice, everything that can be found in the country. So I was happy to have you part of the journey today, and I hope you will remember a lot of what we have seen this morning. And I'm sure that with your teachers in the coming days, you will also get the opportunity to learn more about the history of Angkor Wat and the temples of Cambodia, of course, but also maybe about the geographies. And if you remember, final question from my side, what is the longest river in the world? Which is the longest river in the world? Exactly. It's not in Cambodia, but that's what we discussed last Saturday. So yes, thank you for that. And I think now we have planned a short art session for you that we will start. Based on the pictures that you have seen, you will get the opportunity to draw any one of them or anything that you can see as part of the gallery walk. And I think the teachers will take over for this exercise. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.